Side, yes, Mickey, with less than a 16th to go. What the Hill, a short lead. Lindy the Great to the inside. Yes, Mickey, coming to the wire. It's What the Hill and David Miller winning the
pocket sitter. Turned first over attacker What the Hill. In behind them, Dover Dan from in third. International Money still got work to do. They're in deep stretch, and here comes What the Hill and Miller on the outside. What the Hill converting off the pocket trip to win the Canadian Trotting Classic. He won it by 3 going away. It's What the Hill.
Third, 3/4, 124 and 2 into the stretch. Looks like a Chippendale appears to be on the verge. Crazy Wow trying to fend him off. Room at the rail for What the Hill. He's raging late. And in heavy traffic is Pinkman on the far outside. Dayson trying to close in. But off the rail comes What the Hill, the 3-year-old. What the Hill to seal his division. What the Hill. Then Dayson. And then it was Pinkman third and Mambo Lindy fourth. What the Hill in 151 and 4 in the TVG Open.
This week's Talking Trotting for What the Hill winner comes from Timaru on Saturday, with Bet and Win getting the chocolates. The What the Hill 3-year-old gelding out of Fact to the Odds, bred by Brecken Farms and raced by a large contingent of owners, including Brecken Farms, a couple of Markhams, a couple of Whites involved there, the Cannards, good group of owners as well involved in this gelding. Having his first start for Bob Butt, David White in the sulky, and David and Stacey previously trained this 3-year-old gelding. Only had the 7 starts, brought up his second win now, and this was a super impressive after a big mid-race move to get the chockies. I don't think this will be his last win at Timaru, and hopefully he's aimed at some more races towards the end of the season.
And in front, Bet and Win. Up on the outside is Hanover to Moon. Katie Hawk trying hard the inside. Buffy Northstains at them when it's all over with Barry Town. But Bet and Win, oh, too big, too strong. Bet and Win, too good, will score. Second over, Hanover to Moon.
What the Hill with a record of 12 wins and 8 placings and $1.3 million in stake money. 151.4. Get in touch with the team at woodlandstud.co.nz, standing for 7,000 plus GST in New Zealand, or 7,700. I think we're good to go. I think that video just finished. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talking Trotters. And I do have on the phone, straight off the bat, I have Matt Newberry there to join me. Firstly, Matty, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Paul. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on. I don't know if I quite finished that ad or not, but hopefully I did. That was for the What the Hill winners. And of course, got What the Hill and Talking Trotters tonight. Matty, above all else, congratulations for a start on taking out the 2-year-old fillies for Breeders' Crown with Nordic Rain last night. We'll start off with the compliments, mate.
Yeah, no, thank you. She's a really lovely filly, and it's been a real hard road sort of thing with Dad, obviously, with the floods last year. She was one of the ones that unfortunately we had to put out, but in the long run I think that that might have ended up sort of being what sort of let her it developed to get through to last night.
So she was put out instead of continuing work. You had to just make the decision to put her out in the paddock, and as you said, might have been a blessing in disguise. You're never to know, but yeah, it just seems to that might have facilitated what's been a terrific year for the young filly.
Yeah, it might have helped her just let her develop a little bit longer, and yes, we're very thankful for Stephen Duffy. He sort of help us through that period of time when the floods went through, and unfortunately she'd just into work a couple of weeks, and trotters, as you know, they need plenty of education, but when you've only got limited amount of boxes that other people can spare, you really got to focus on your race team. And she was one of the ones that just had to go back out and take her time and sort of hope that we were able to get that education into her as we sort of went along once things started to get back to normal.
We'll talk on her in a minute, and please, if anyone's got any questions to ask Maddie, please do. I've got 4 guests to come on. We won't have Maddie on for a long time, but I do want to find out a little bit more about her. Just the race last night, Maddie. You alluded to something to me in the conversation when I said about her brilliant gate speed's pretty much what's held her in such great stead, and it's natural. You just told me something earlier on in the day about your pre-race thoughts and process about what you were going to do out of the gate. Matty might have gone.
Are you still there, Paul?
Yes, got you now, Matty.
Yeah, sorry, it just cut out a little bit. I didn't hear the end of what you were saying.
No, just your you were saying before about your plans prior to the race, and what you had, your thought process, I suppose, leading into the race.
Yeah, so leading into the race, she's always shown that she's had plenty of gate speed, and she's been a pretty faultless trotter, really, off the arm. You never really had to ask her for anything, and sort of before the race, we're sort of looking at it and saying, well, there's a couple of horses there on our outside that if somehow they manage to lob our back, they could be serious threats in the race. The likes of Matty Gath's Third Eye, and also David Aiken's Mary's Mac. They're quite nice fillies in their own right, and as it sort of panned out, the inside two got out a little better than I sort of expected them to, and it sort of allowed me to just feel a little bit more sort of passive and not have to ask her for as much right at the start, and just give a little bit of time to just scooch around without working quite as hard early as what she sort of burnt off the arm at Maryborough.
Yeah, and that held you in good stead for the end of it. I'm not allowed to show the whole races. That's one of the issues we have with our copyright and the likes. So picking it up here at the 400 metre mark, but you were able to get it pretty comfortable. You had a little bit of pressure mid-race, but not what you'd call huge pressure. You got a 32.3, and you look pretty comfortable here at the 200 metre mark, Matty. You're pretty happy with the way she was trotting.
Yeah, I was very happy with the way that she was started to really pick the bridle up when Damien Burns on the outside with his tough filly all that remains went to start to apply the pressure, sort of going towards the quarter, and she really responded to him. And sort of as we sort of started to round the turn, I decided I didn't want to wait for them and let them sort of make up any ground for free. And she responded well initially, and then she sort of got out to about a length advantage, and she sort of half went to knock off a little bit, which she can do at times, but you prefer them to be a little bit more laid back rather than sort of going a bit crazy. And she once Damien started taking up a little bit of ground again in the straight, she responded well to him, and she sort of got to the line, and I felt that she still had a fair bit left in the locker yet. Yeah,
well, even the picture, I've got the video still up here, and she's just got the ears in the middle of nowhere. They're not pricked forward. They're not laid back. It's not like she's doing it hard. She's just quite comfortable and trotting good. Conditions got very wet. Was that at all a concern for you?
It was a little bit, because she'd never actually raced in the rain, and for the most part, we'd sort of been able to, or Dad had been able to sort of work her when it wasn't teeming down rain. So she'd really not had any experience with being out in wet conditions, and she just seemed to handle it just all in a stride very, very well. Like I said earlier, she's a very professional little filly, and the track itself was for the downpour that sort of come through just before we started heading out of the shed. But it sort of stopped raining just after we'd finished the warm-up, and that was obviously good for me. I didn't want to get too much wetter. I didn't have my wet weather pants on. I didn't have time to run up and grab them, unfortunately. But she took it all in her stride. Sort of any doubts I had about the conditions playing into it with her, she dispelled that in the warm up.
Yeah, our line's a little bit dodgy from time to time, and I do apologise for that. I think it may be me here with the Telstra. It can be a bit dodgy from time to time, but we are getting most of it. One thing I love about the Trotters, and Matty, I want to talk a little bit more about yourself and Dad and this filly in a minute, but as you mentioned there, Damien Burns running second, trained and drives a horse, a great thrill for him, but also Rebecca Morrissey and Michael Bellman as well with Centurion Dream. That's a beauty of the Trotters, isn't it? There's so many different people involved in each of these races.
Sorry about that.
You're right,
Sorry about that. I just had a little cough. It's just definitely on the trotting ranks. Seeing so many more people sort of involved in these big races, it's really good, obviously, for the industry to see that sort of no matter what size your stable is, when you've got a nice horse that comes along, you've got every chance. And Damien Burns, like his filly, she got round fairly early when we were going relatively slow through the lead time, and she'd proven that she was quite a tough little filly when she went round one of her first couple of starts at Ballarat Sitting Park, and she won. And then also the performance that she put in when she went round in the Vicbred final. She sat part again that night, I'm fairly certain, and it was always going to be sort of hard to sort of get away from her. She really does just knuckle down deep, and she's not a filly to just shirk her job. And she went terrific, and I congratulated Damien on the run after the race as well. And of course, Michael Bellman driving Centurion Dream, she finished off really well with the cold set on the fence the whole way until Michael was able to find a bit of space to get moving coming around the turn. And that's sort of been her sort of go. I feel the way that she finished on the last couple of 100 metres in the Super Series, the Consolation at Kilmore, when she sat out back, she fired through along the sprint lane really well. But we had a little bit more to sort of run home with that night because we went a little bit slower, and she just sort of couldn't pick us up that night. But I feel that if she'd have been a length or so closer turning into the straight, she definitely would have been a major threat on the way that she seems to just absolutely attack the line when she gets a good run like that.
Matt, you're showing a lot of respect for the other people, and I think that's very worthy of you. But I reckon they'd be all pretty proud of yourself and Dad with that horse. Just looked at your stats. So obviously that was your first Group 1 win. I have worked that one out, but it's actually, I can show it. Yeah, I think I can show it here. Yeah, I'll just do it this way. It's just as easy. People don't need to see all of it. But there's just a little stat up the top. 99 wins. Was that your 100th win last night or your 90?
Yeah, no, unfortunately that was number 99 last night.
It just the only reason I say it is because it does have that last win in there then. Sorry, I didn't actually read it. I actually read it wrong. So yeah, that would have been a nice 100 wins, wouldn't it?
It would have been fantastic if we brought up the 100th win with this filly. She's been terrific for us. And when we went to the sales with the band that owns her, Troy Walker, she was sort of the one that I picked out, and she's sort of been my filly pretty well right the way along. My name might not be on her, but I say she's mine. And to bring up the 100th win in a Group 1 would have been amazing, but to win a Group 1 in the first place is just such a big achievement, especially being from a smaller stable in a lot of regards.
How many? Actually, I can tell you. I was going to say, how many cracks at a Group 1 have you had?
It's only been the once.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's the beauty of this. You can actually sound like a genius now. You've had a couple of Group 2 and Group 3s, which sometimes we don't even realise we're in those sorts of races, and a couple of listed races. But your first crack at a Group 1, because unfortunately she jumped off stride. And that's been her only blot in her copybook, was that jumping off stride in the heat of the Vicbred for you for the year. She's been a terrific filly for you.
Yeah, no, she has. And unfortunately that day, sort of leading up to that, we sort of didn't notice that she'd started just getting down on her frogs again. She was on her back feet. She was wearing wedges. And Dad just changed her shoes a couple of weeks beforehand, and we sort of didn't really think that it'd be an issue at all. Got down.
Fortunately, he's gone again. I changed the link. Hopefully, Matty will come back. I have a feeling it might be his end.
Pain, and then also bearing through the frog there, it just culminated in her not handling the track that day. And it's one of those things that we sort of sorted out pretty quickly. Dad got on and put some pads on her back feet, and she's pretty well through from that run and just done a terrific job.
Yeah, she has indeed. Like, she's got stats of 9 starts now, 5 wins, 2 seconds, 84,000 in the bank. That's pinch yourself stuff, sort of. I know, Troy Walker owns it, but for Mum and Dad as well, that's just got to be a great fillet as well for both them. And like you said, last year was such a trying year.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And, the season that she's had has been outstanding. And with a couple of those other fillies not going around, in this series, the likes of High Step and Violet Stanford. It just sort of gave her the opportunity that if she was going to be good enough on the night, that she could. And the prize money that she won through this season, it's terrific to think that we've had a young girl come through and do such a fantastic job. And I know that Troy's incredibly happy, and he's sort of been wanting to get into a horses more himself, as he's had shares with Matty Craven and also with Summit Luck. He part owned 18 Carat, who had won over in WA and that, and for him to have a horse that he owned outright, and for her to go through and do what she's done, it's been terrific for him. And obviously the support that he's shown us with trusting us with this filly, and of course trusting me with driving her, it's incredible for the whole team.
No, is indeed. I was just looking up her mother, Tricia Powell, because she was prepared by, I think it's Erin. She's now Glenn Craven. I think she's Erin Craven. She goes by now, but Erin Taylor. They bred this horse and prepared her for the sale. She's a beautiful filly. I was lucky enough to do the video work for her when she started out, and she's a beautiful filly. I just see she's got a full to her. I was going to say, I was about to say it's a full brother. And no, it's a full sister, and then also now just had a filly by Honest Streak as well. So there's a couple more coming through with that family, but you're not prolific buyers at the sale, Matty. It's not the sort of thing that you guys are noted for doing, but did you enjoy going to the sales and picking the horse out?
Yeah, well, years just to sort of have a bit of a look, never really with the full intention of buying anything, and just Troy, he wanted to buy a brood mare and start breeding, and just why not buy a yearling from the sales? Look at some nice trotting fillies, and then maybe you can have some fun along the way, win a few races. You can sort of pay for those breeding fees sort of down the line. That's sort of where that all come about as to why we went to the sales. It was a really good day out there, and Erin and Glenn, they prepared her absolutely perfectly. She looked incredible, and I was pretty well as soon as she came out of the box, because she was one of 6 that Dad wanted to view, and I was just looking over her and I was saying, I absolutely love this filly. We really need to buy her, and it sort of took a little bit of extra convincing from Dad whilst she was in the ring for trying to keep going on her, and of course I'm over the moon that he did, given the journey she's sort of taken me on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was impressed with the size of her, and she was one of the first of the Volsteads that I got a chance to see. And then after that, I saw quite a few with Harassed Trotters and Yabby Farms, of course, and that. But just done an amazing job. I found the sister. If you're wondering where the sister is, Matty, it's at Sean McNulty, because he's got on there and he's making sure that I'm aware that he's definitely got the filly. So that'll be, at least you know where it is too, and it's hopefully for Sean and the crew there, they have such a good, a similar sort of run as what you guys have been able to have.
Yeah, no, I've heard that. The full sister, apparently she's quite a bit bigger than what Nordic Run is, and we think that she's quite a large filly, and she might end up taking a little bit more time for Sean to sort of to come up if she is massive. But you look, oh well, he end up having a horse sort of at the end of the day that if it comes through and she's the same sort of ability as what our girl has, that he may end up having a class trotting mare and a Grand Prix sort of trotting mare, and sort of as a 4 and 5 year old. And it's fantastic to be winning juvenile races, to have them doing everything right early on. But I think at the end of the day, when you're putting the runs on the board at that level later on in there, that it can be just as much, if not more, of a spark on for their.
Yeah, it can. Mum and Dad, your Dad's a very reserved sort of person. You don't hear a lot from Dad. Mum would be super proud of her son, but have you had a chance to sit down and just sort of say, we actually done it? yet, or is it all just a bit still of a whirlwind, if you like?
Yeah, well, actually, sort of after the race last night, while I was still on the track with her, sort of having the photo taken with the rug on and everything and the connections there, I could see Dad, obviously hit him. He was actually welling up a bit when he come over to me, and give me a hug after the race. And Mum, she was definitely full of emotion, of course, after the race, and she was an absolute bundle of nerves before the race as well, and so was Dad. But we sort of sat down for the race, probably about an hour or so afterwards, and sort of just with the owner there, and just said, well, this is what we sort of aimed for when we thought that we had a nice filly there to go on with, and the fact that now we've done it, it's a case of you just accept what it is that we've really done and see what we can do moving forward.
Absolutely, and you were able to see. I think we touched on this. You were able to watch Rockin' with Attitude, and the job she done. Dave Miles will be on towards the end of the show tonight, probably around the 8 o'clock mark. Anyone wanting to catch up with Milesy, but the job that he was able to do with that filly last year. The strength of the fillies, they seem to be stronger now than the colts for whatever reasons. Possibly got a lot to do with the lack of geldings being able to use steroids and things like that. The fillies seem to get better. They seem to be stronger. They seem to be up and going earlier, and it's across both codes. It's not just the standardbreds. Do you look at what Rocking with Attitude done, and you sit down and do a little bit of a mud map and sort of try to emulate what she did?
Yeah. The big thing that we've sort of spoken about after the race as well is that she's going to be going out and having a good 6 to 8 weeks of spell, and sort of look at it and say, well, that she comes back as a 64 class trotter next season, and rather than sort of putting her up in grade against trotters that are virtually ready to come down and be racing downtown every week, the older grade horses, we probably would need to follow the Rockin' with Attitude path and look to take her up to Sydney, New South Wales Oaks, and look at sort of how she's going in comparison to the colts and geldings at that time, and whether or not we could possibly end up running her in the Derby in New South Wales as well after the Oaks, and that's sort of that we are looking at the minute. We could get on really well with Michelle Arnott, who's a big part of Rockin' with Attitude being there with David Miles. We were only stabled down about 4 or 5 stalls from Rockin' with Attitude last night, and Michelle come over after Rockin' with Attitude won and gave our girl a bit of a pep talk, and I think that might have been one of the gracing factors that might have just helped us get over the line.
Yeah, well, you can tell Dad too there'd be a nice trip to Queensland as well, so don't because they've got their good races up there. The stake money's increased, but of course they've got the Great Square, but they also have the Oaks up there as well, and the Derby. They were short on numbers this year. I know they've already started purchasing 2-year-olds from New Zealand, looking at those sort of races there, the Queenslanders, and I'm going to catch up with Graham Dwyer as well shortly, but good races right through the year that, with a bit of good management, you can have a lot of fun and earn a lot of stake money as well. Matty, thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Wish Mum and Dad congratulations as well from me. I was fortunate enough I called out and seen them. I think she'd only won the one race at that stage. I thought it was just a super impressive win on that occasion at Bendigo, the first start, and I'm glad she's been able to go on from strength to strength. And take out one of the time-honoured races. There's lots gets said about the Breeders' Crown, but it is a race that everyone would like to have one of those trophies and a rug. And say that they've done it, and Matty, they can't take it away from you guys, mate. You've been able to achieve it.
Yeah, no, they definitely can't. We can look at it, and it's one prestigious race, winning the Breeders' Crown, and Mum are over the moon. I'm over the moon, and no, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, and I'll pass on your congratulations to Mum and Dad.
Nah, very good, mate. Thank you. I apologise for the line. Hopefully it's my end and not yours. But, I mean, the other way, hopefully it's your end and not mine, because I don't like that, but it is just dropping in and out a little bit from time to time. But Nellie Melba says congratulations on there, mate, and I'm sure you've got plenty of other people that have as well. So, good trotting lady, Nellie. So, yep, don't worry about that. But well done, Matty, and thank you very much for joining me, mate.
Yeah, no, thank you, and thank everyone that's shown their support before and after the race. And I hope next year we get to see another smaller train. Look at one either the likes of the Victory or the Crown, the same as we have this year.
Shawnee McNulty's hoping it's him, mate. He's hoping for a full sister who does the same results, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, that'd be a terrific result, especially for Glenn and Erin as well.
Yep.
Having two fillies come out of there and win that'd be terrific for them.
And it is a little bit remiss of me, but I did see a picture of Jess Tubbs because she bred Not As Promised, another horse that won. And the breeders probably fly under the radar, but they pay up for these horses for these series. It's well done, and as you said, Erin and Glenn, they're trying to get a breeding band together as well, as the same as what Troy's trying to do. And it's a great starting point, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, we had a lot of support there last night from Erin and Glenn. They come round to wish us the best of luck before the race, and I'm fairly sure that and the rest of the connections of the filly, and it was terrific as well as us. And you sort of definitely don't hear quite as much about the breed, in fact, if they're not racing them themselves. But you definitely need to have that sort of support for the breeders as well, with the acknowledgement of all the hard work that they put in, the ones through the sales, and obviously keeping them safe and sound and not getting injured early on. And
no, very good. Well said, Matty. Thank you. You've been very humble. I don't know if you enjoy a beer or not, but hopefully you're able to sit down and have a couple when you get a chance and enjoy the experience, mate. But thank you very much for joining me, and congratulations. And as I said, congratulations, Mum and Dad, and to Troy as well.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for coming on.
And we have Matty Newberry joining me just then, which is a great result as well for him and his mother and father. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring the show on tonight. One, there's no trots on, so it's a good opportunity for people to be able to tune in and watch them, but also highlight some of these great winners. I'm hoping that was Maddie's end, and I don't mean that in a nasty way. I just hope my phone's not going to be like that the whole time, because I hoping to catch up with quite a few people tonight on the phone, and it wasn't a good start, that's for sure. Try and get hold of Anton Golino. Hopefully I didn't ring him. Okay, I sent him a text message. That's how come I'm like, where's his phone number gone? But that's all right, we will get him. But if you have any other news, trotting wise, get involved. The show doesn't have to finish anytime soon. It can be any time at all. We can talk about plenty of things. Just wait to see if Anton does answer the phone. And of course the Harass the Trotters roster is there on screen.
Oh, you reached out.
Unfortunately, we just got his answering machine, but the Harass the Trotters roster is there on the screen there. At the minute of 2024, there is also Shawnee is available as well with that. So EL Titan and On a Streak, of course, both standing at Cobbity Farms in New South Wales. Classic Connection at Somerset Farms in Queensland. Used to Me, Always Ready, and Shawnee is standing here in the Goulburn Valley, and On Solitaire available for New Zealand and New Zealand people only over there. So that is their full roster of stands for this season. I've got some videos. I'll put a video up. I might put it up later on tonight. A couple of the files by Classic Connection. Don't have them on this video. A camera computer, I have it on the other one, so it's a little bit hard to do, but ripping files, shouldn't say little files, and really like ours. And I quite like a few of the others as well. So we'll just see if he doesn't answer again. And if not, I'll give Graham Dwyer a call. But I did have a little bit of a plan going through here. Diane Riley, hello to you, Diane, from Queensland. Hopefully you're well. Plenty of people watching, not a lot of comments, but that's okay. Get involved. That phone's going to go flat. Have to fix it.
You reached.
Rightio, we'll go for a take two here. We'll actually go this way and just see if I can't get hold of Graham Dwyer. hopefully I can get hold of Graham from. I know they landed there a little bit earlier.
Hello, Paul.
Graham, how are you?
Good, buddy.
I apologise. I went a little bit earlier. I actually owe you two apologies, but couldn't get hold of Anton Golino. So, firstly, obviously your plane has arrived and arrived safely.
Yes, no, we're landed now. We're just heading home.
Back to Queensland. Where is actually his home officially, Graham?
Yeah, well, Browns Plains, which is probably it's not far from there really. We're about 40 minutes from Albion Park, so
yep,
between Ipswich and the water, pretty much the ocean. That's where we are.
Are you close to the ocean itself?
No, about right in the middle. So so where Ipswich is, sort of halfway to the ocean, I suppose. That's pretty much where we're at.
No, very good. You'd be happy to be home, I would imagine, although you're probably a bit reluctant to leave your horse, I'd also imagine.
Oh, yeah, it's funny. I only seen 2 races. I've seen the race before ours and then our race, and I think I was just with the horse the rest of the night, so I never left his side.
Congratulations. What a journey you've been on with this horse. I had a look there. I think you've had him for 9 starts, 8 wins. You must be pinching yourself a little bit with him.
Definitely, yeah, because, obviously we just wanted to race a horse, that could measure up here and have a bit of fun, and that's what was the main goal with the horse was. And well, he's sort of improved a bit, and then he beat a horse here one day, My Ultimate Eddie, which is he actually won Saturday night here at the open class site here, so he can obviously run a bit. And I always had a big opinion of the horse before then, and once he won that race, I thought, well, mate, they won't go much better than that horse, so we should be going and having a crack.
My Ultimate Eddie, interestingly enough, is a Art Major trotter as well. It's a little bit of an odd one when you look at the breeding, isn't it?
Well, it's funny. I actually had a horse for Alex Alchin there a week or 2 ago, just caretake, as a caretaker trainer there for a couple of days, and he came and picked the horse up and took it back, and he said, "Oh, you won't believe this. We had My Ultimate Eddie and Not As Promised jogging around because they had them both they're both in Melbourne at Greg Sugar's place." And Alex was there, and I said, "Well, how funny is that? That's the reason why we took the horse." So, yeah.
So, how did you come to get him?
Well, it was like just fate, really, or sliding doors or whatever you might want to call it. We're looking for Tony likes buying a few horses and racing around. He's got horses all over Australia, really, and he was looking for a horse, and I knew if Greg was sort of going to sell a couple, or he had one for sale, and we didn't really like it. And once I looked it up and for what they wanted for it, and then Tony kept talking to Greg, and Greg said, "Well, I got this other one here you could buy," and they just done a deal, and he bought it straight away. And the funny thing is, I actually knew about the horse because we bought a horse that raced it previously, and he ran third to it, and so I knew he had ability, and I knew he is sort of, quite young and dumb still. And through me mate Dennis also knew the horse, and Tony bought the horse straight away. So once he got him, I said, "Oh, you've done well there, Tone." And anyway, we got him up, and the rest is history, really. It
is, and it's a great story. And I know Greg and Jess are absolutely wrapped for you. There's no jealousy or anything like that. That they couldn't be prouder of the horse. Like, they bred the horse, and they couldn't be prouder of the job you're doing. With this horse, it's just had an amazing journey so far, and it's exciting to see where the journey might end with him. Because, like I said, for anyone not aware, his name is Not As Promised. He's by betting line out of an Albert mare called All Promises. So he's very, very well named, and he's a multiple Group 1 winning trotter now. It's just a really cool little story, I reckon.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of different angles to this story, and and especially with the horse itself, like he's out of an Oaks winning mare, and by betting line. So just in breeding alone, he's doing what he was bred for, but he's just he's trotting instead of pacing. But but to be fair too, like each time we race him, he gets better. Like last night, he ran a 27 quarter. He showed speed, then he showed toughness to fight it out. Well, that's something new again. And the next time we start him, there'll be something new again. and that's where we're at with him. It's all new.
I've got the video up of his last 400. Nathan did get away with pretty cheap half in the middle there, but then Nathan Jack decided, well, you're not going to be sauntering along down the back, and I think, what was it? It's there, 27.6 down the back straight. But then he was able to kick, and like you said, that's a different string to his bow, especially compared to his Derby wins. That's just something really different for him. Yeah, definitely. Like he, just having that breather early through the run was always going to set up the race the way it panned out at the end. And I was, to Nathan Jack's credit, I thought he drove a really good race to beat us, because that was one thing we haven't tapped into, and that was the one angle he went for, and I thought that was a good move. But at the end of the day, our fella handled that pressure, and as I said, he sort of stepped up to show there's a bit more to him, and I think strength is a big part, but there's actually speed there as well, which is a little bit scary. He looks raw. He looks mighty tall, because Nathan's not a small person. I mean, he's not big either, but he's not small, and that this horse looks to be a giant in front of him. Doesn't wear any boots, like especially in front. You've got a set of bell boots on him, but no knee boots or shin boots, and doesn't wear a head check. Just has a little hood. He's just an unusual horse, and I mean that in such a nice way when I say about that. When I say about that gear, because quite often pacing bred trotters just need that little bit of help, whereas he looks the opposite. Leave me alone and I'll be happy. Well, it goes down to to start with Greg and Jess. Like, we bought the horse, and they give us a good head start of how they had the horse going, and the horse is in good order when we got him. So that was a good head start for us, and I always like to sort of start with nothing, and that's what the horse wore anyway. And so all we had to do was take the knee boots off at one stage and tendon boots, and we're happy how he was going, so we just left it. Yeah, no, he has been going terrific, and the ride is not over. And I love the fact that you're doing this. You're heading to New Zealand, which in itself is exciting. Have you ever taken a horse to New Zealand? Well, I was flat out taking a horse away from Brisbane. So this will be your first overseas trip. Have you? Okay, well, let's wind back a little bit. Have you been to New Zealand before? Yeah, well, actually, we went over there because the young fellow was driving up in the ponies, and he got invited to go over. So we just went over and held his hand, really, and that was our first taste of it, and that was the first time we ever sort of left Australian shores, really. Was that in the kids' carts was that for the Addington Cup meeting and that? Yeah, it was Inter-Dominion was on. Oh, okay, yep. Then. Yeah, and so we're there then, and it was a really good experience. We got to meet a heap of people, and Lane sort of made a lot of friends. It was really good. They actually do it really well. They over there they get, like, I know last year, I don't know about this year because I was a little bit busy, but last year when I was there, they got Blair Orange and that to talk to the kids, and they really involve the kids with the seniors, and I think it's good. And the other unique thing they do over there with their cup time, they take them to Riccarton Racecourse, to the thoroughbred track, and expose them to something very different. Like, they have grass track racing everywhere in New Zealand, but at this thoroughbred track, and it's their biggest meeting as well. So it's a real cool way they do it over there. So I'm tipping the young bloke enjoyed it. Oh, definitely, yeah. Like, we still talk about it today, and there's a lot of different things they done with the kids, and and we tagged along as well, and they put a lot of work into their young drivers over there, and it shows too, because there's a lot of good horsemen there. Yeah, no, there is indeed. I've just I apologise for that. It's Anton. I'll get back to Anton in a second. He's fine. There is a lot of good drivers. There's a lot of good horsemen, and it's a very different racing scene. If you like, it's probably going to suit your fella in a way, even if you get a tricky draw, Graham, because they're happy that if the speed's kept solid, they're happy to hand up and let you go to the front. So, I'm not saying he's going to go over there and win, but the racing over there should suit him. The three straighted track as well. I don't know, has your bloke been to Redcliffe? So, what was that one? Been to where? Redcliffe. Oh, Redcliffe? No, we try and avoid Redcliffe. Trust me, Addington is no Redcliffe, but it does have three straights. But I don't think there's too many horses that have an issue with it. That's for sure. going around. But it is a unique track. But it's I think it'll be awesome. And I imagine New Zealand have been pretty helpful in getting you across there.
Oh, definitely, yeah. No, they couldn't be any more helpful. So hopefully it all just goes smoothly, which I think it will. And we got all the help in the right places. So I can't wait.
I was going to. Sorry, I can't text, and I can. Well, I can, but I should. It's hard to. I'll just get back to Nathan. The other part of that too, the other great part about that, when you talk about Jess Tubbs and Greg Sugars, I mean they travelled all to Sweden, so I'm tipping they've given you a few pointers on how to get him across there in the best of health.
I actually didn't get a chance to talk too much to him, but Dennis was talking to Greg a fair bit, and I think he's got good info what to do, and which I've got to have that chat with Dennis as well. But that's they're always too willing to help you out.
Yeah,
things like that. So
no. Now, the other part I had to apologise at the start of the show, and I was going to do it. I actually called you Graham Bowyer in one of the other interviews that I did, which I do apologise for. I get lots of things wrong. Don't worry about that. I've probably got half of this wrong, so I do apologise. But in that interview, I asked you about the Trotters, and I think you said at the time you'd had 3, and one of those actually won. After that, that was another horse of Nick Hooper's that Greg and Jess had as well. Have you got more Trotters all of a sudden?
Well, we've always had a trotter or two, and we just had a patch where we didn't have any. But Darcy's Fireball is quite a nice horse, and we actually expect big things from him in the future. He's only just starting to get it. He's starting to sort of get a bit of confidence and get going a bit. So he went real good the other day. There's actually not much between them, but one's probably just needs a bit of time, which is Darcy's Fireball. But the other fella, obviously he's just got that rawness about him, which he'll just naturally improve by racing. So and we've got another one there. It's All and Over. He's racing on Tuesday, and he actually goes pretty good too. But he's a 39 rate. He's done a few things wrong in the previously, but we're hoping if we get him right, he'll win a few too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the trotting game in Queensland is going from strength to strength. It's exciting the way that it's growing.
Well, it's strong, you can't send an average trotter here and win a race. They got to be able to run, and but if you send the right trotter, you can have a lot of fun with the trotters here. And especially to the audience there in Victoria, if they got a trotter that can step and got a bit of speed, and there's mostly stands. They do have a few mobiles around. You race the same horses twice a week if you wanted to, and and I say it to a lot of people, you may as well kick an ATM into the corner of the lounge room and if you get the right one, because they can just keep earning, and they don't have to be the best one, just the top 5 in each race, and they do a terrific job here.
They do, and I think the other part too, Graham, there's some quality trainers up there that maybe people don't recognise as trotting trainers, but most of the guys up there handle the trotters so well. I've had a lot to do with Jack Butler just recently. Pete and Chantel Turpin. Like a year ago, Pete and Chantel were winning just about every race. Now they're still winning their races, the trotting races, but they're I won't say taking their turns, but it's not just a matter of them rocking up with a well-balanced trotter, is it?
Well, they do drive them pretty hard, so they don't last that long. But to be fair, we do, we do try and place them well. And there's good horsemen here, There's, there's a lot of good horsemen here to do the job. And if you spread it out, there's a number of them. There's great horsemen here.
Yeah, I think is it Nathan's sister? Does she train a couple of young trotters?
No, they're. I think he's got cousins. There's quite a few. Yeah.
There is someone related, and they've had a great run with Darren Ray's son, Stay in My High Expectation. They've been having a good run. But anyway, I think she's related, or I don't know. I get confused. People tell me, and I get myself very confused and confuddled. So yeah, what is the grand plan with this horse? Like I would imagine that after New Zealand, he will back off a little bit, whether he goes for a spell or not. But I imagine you'll back off a bit.
Yeah, well, when we get him back, we're going to just sort of give him a little break, and then we've got the Golden Square coming up, and so hopefully both trotters will step up to that, and that's our goal with them.
Yep. And that's super exciting. Of course, sponsored by Harass Trotters. But yeah, that's it. That is the exciting part about what's going on. Plus, you've got other races around that same time that are good high end money as well. So there's plenty of options there in that winter carnival, and that's probably where you can keep punching on a little bit longer now, knowing that you've got plenty of time to get him ready for those races.
Yeah, well, the big thing too, like we haven't gone through our metro races, so that'll be the next step for both horses really. And by the time when the carnival comes around, we'll be sort of sitting how we want to be, So so that's our goal anyway.
No, very good. All right, Graham. Well, enjoy the New Zealand company. They'll look after you very, very well. I know the gentleman you're staying with. They have a lot of fun. Be careful if they take you to Methan trials on a Sunday. You might get back a little bit late on that occasion. But Brent and Timmy, they'll definitely look after you. And I look forward to seeing you there for Grand Prix. So that is actually Sunday week.
Yep.
Yeah, Sunday week.
So you heading over, or?
Yes. Yep. I'll be back over there, I'll make a point of coming out and catching up. I know the team from HRNZ are going to catch up with you. Emily's already spoken about the fact they'll catch up with you, but I'll do it through my platforms as well and get there and see you going to a lovely part of the world in Ashburton. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a huge carnival. Well, it's not a huge carnival. It's a huge race day. They do it very, very well, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to it. And, we know there's good trotters there, but, if we can just sort of match up with them, in the future, we can sort of have the confidence to go wherever we want,
Well, I know a gentleman you're going to be taking on, Dylan Ferguson. She's Bella. He took her, they live on the North Island. They took her to the South Island, and she came to Victoria just recently and handled it, no worries at all. Love Me Too, he'd looked after him, and he's a horse you will be tackling in the Derby. He won the Northern Derby, and they looked after him and they brought him to Victoria, and he said he didn't know where to stand and things like that. So they do grow up. So these trips overseas, albeit sometimes you can't measure them initially, like you want to win everything, but if you don't, it might still hold you in good stead later on, in a year or 2 years' time, that you might be going back to the Dominion Handicap, mate.
Yeah, exactly. We understand that, and it's not all going to be about winning. And but if we can just match up with these horses, that's going to be good in itself. And even for Nathan to go over there and have a challenge like that as well. Like, he's just driving out of his skin at the moment, and he's done nothing wrong with the horse as well. So every angle of this horse will be good for everybody. Big
commitment too from him, and I was just going to quickly touch on that because it is the Inter-Dominion has started, and I'm sure he's got a good book of drives and all the rest, but he committed to the Sunday flight and to get across here, which must give you guys some real confidence as well.
Well, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. He's only 3 once, and the time is now, and and the horse is on fire at the moment. So, he's had a terrific. He's got a terrific buzz from the horse as well. So it's good for him as well.
No, absolutely, Graham. Well done. Congratulations on the ride so far with Not As Promised. Hopefully it continues for you in New Zealand. They don't mind the Kiwis. They don't like the Aussies taking their money. They'll tell you they're happy to see you, but if you take the money, they don't talk to you after that. So just get used to that. But it'll be fine. They're very, very good people, mate. And you're going to have a hell of a time. That's for sure.
Oh, I'm sure I will. And I can't wait. And win, lose or draw, I'm sure it'll be a great experience.
I'll catch up with you over there, Graham. Thank you very much, mate, and congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Graham Dwyer there after the win of Not As Promised in the High Game Breeders' Crown for the 3-year-old trotting colts and geldings. And bloody done an amazing job, this horse. I can actually go to that one there. You can see here he's $125,000 in stakes, 9 wins from 15 starts, 3 seconds and 2/3. And even for Greg and Jess, the horse never missed a place for them as well. Won at Shepparton. And seconds and thirds as well all the way through. So been a great acquisition, a very smart purchase as well for them. They're going to have a lot of fun, especially heading to New Zealand very, very shortly, which will be very good for them. I will get Anton Golino. Better get the right man back, not the wrong one, but that's okay.
G'day, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. How are you? And I appreciate you giving me the time on a Sunday, so don't...
No. I honestly, I forgot about, I just lost time. I just lost track of time, sorry.
No, you're right, mate. We are live. I better tell you that. I thought I'll let you know that part as well.
No, all good. I just, honestly lost track of time there. I was mucking around with the kids, so, all good.
And that's why I'm very appreciative of the time. I don't like doing these on Sundays, but it just sort of fitted. I've got a little bit on with Nutrient. Plus, I think it's it's good when there's no trots on. Some people are looking for it. And if you've got any questions to ask anyone, I've still got David Miles to come on. But if you want to ask Anton anything at all, please go straight ahead. Firstly, mate, congratulations on getting the chocolates with Valthorens. Richly deserved. He's always sort of been a nice horse, but I'm sure you've got a few more grey hairs because of him as well.
Oh, without doubt, Paul. It's a sort of funny story, I guess. We early on there in the piece, Pat sort of said to us, we probably shouldn't race in the Nutrient race because he was sponsoring it. So I said, no, fair call. I was happy enough with that, and so we're just poking along, sort of steady there, and then I think about 6 weeks later, he sort of sprung out of the blue and goes, "Oh, are we going to have anything ready for Nutrient?" And I think it was only about 3 weeks before the series, or 2 weeks before the series. So basically, he went from just sort of poking along steady there to the educations, to the trials a week later, and into the race. And not an ideal prep for a baby trotter, but it's given us plenty of grey hairs. But we always sort of thought he had ability, and to Nathan's credit, he really believed in the horse from day one. He sort of said, I was ready to give up on him a couple of times, Nathan sort of said, keep persevering. So we did. So, no, it was good. It was good to get the win. Yeah, no, that was indeed. Is that the round man not happy because he can't play with Dad? Pardon, mate? Is that the young bloke not happy because he can't play with Dad? Yeah, no, Soph. The young girl, she Daddy's girl. Yeah, she wanted to lay next to me. She tried to tell me she had a sore belly and then a headache. wanted to be next. That's what kids do, and I will not hold. I won't hold you up because I think fairly time. No problem. No, she's all right. She's with her mum there now, so she's all good. I got the video on. What was your confidence level? I've only got the last 400 metre mark, but Nathan seemed to have him in very good rhythm, just sitting in behind the horse Chris Slangs, and that were you confident with him? We had a great week. We had probably a great 2 weeks with him. Like I said, because we were on the back foot, he's a funny horse in the sense that he's one of them ones. We change a bit of equipment on him, and it'd work, twice, and then he'd sort of get cunning to it, and then he just got in a little habit of locking on a line, and he'd run in and run out, and you'd sort of do something to fix it, and he'd go the opposite way, and really sort of over, exaggerate whatever you've done, and
yep.
But like I said, Nathan was from day one said, I really, really like this horse. He's going to go a long way. It's just, but as once you're up and racing, you're sort of on the back foot. But we went back to the trials a couple of times, and I sort of thought we're heading in the right direction. I sort of thought he was going to win there at Maryborough. He sat behind the leader, and he just on the last turn there when the horse in front pulled the plugs, he got a bit of a fright and jumped it off. Then I sort of thought, oh, we're getting somewhere. But last night, Nathan was very confident. I'm never confident. I'm shocking. He's the optimist, I'm the pessimist, that's for sure. But he was very confident. All week he'd check in just about every second day and say, how's Charlie? How's Charlie? And like I said, we had a good sort of 2 weeks with him, by far the best 2 weeks we had. Where he sort of done everything right here at home, and was steering a lot better. Even though there last night he sort of did get in a little bit, but he was probably 99% better than he had been. So, he was confident, but definitely I wasn't.
What is that it for him now, Anton? Do you pull a pin on him now and give him a spell because he has had such a, I suppose, mixed campaign for a 2-year-old?
Yeah, he'll only have a very short break. He'll just, I'll pull the shoes off him there tomorrow, and he can just have a couple of weeks off, and we're sort of you're coming into December there now, and I think the nutrient race is in April, if that's right. Yeah. So you know how time flies, Paul. You know, you blink your eyes and it'll be April. So he'll have only a couple of weeks off, and we'll just bring him back steady. You know, like there's no rush to get him back, but yeah, you know, you start giving him sort of any more than 2, 3, 4 weeks off, and you're back to sort of base, and you know, it's a long prep to get him back. So yeah, he'll only have probably 2 weeks off, and then we'll come back, and whether he jogs for a few weeks just light, and he won't do much, but he won't go out for a long spell.
Want to make sure people are aware of those nutrient sale. So the sale dates are the part that I've got up here at the minute. But Melbourne on the 14th of April is the yearling sale, but that will also be the race series final. So the 13th is the final. Dates haven't been 100% confirmed for the heats, and each interstate will be different. The trotting series, though, will only be in Victoria. So if you've got an interstate trotter, you'll want to try and be around. I'm going to take a punt around the 4th, 5th, 6th, something like that. I think at the minute there is talks. Hopefully that'll be released this week. But the stake money is outstanding, and it's very, very exciting. I know Pat's been a great facilitator of that, but Nutrient are taking the bull by the horns a little bit too, and really trying to change things up. So it's going to be a very exciting series, and so it's not just for the 3-year-olds, it's also for the 2-year-old trotters as well. We want to make sure people are aware of that, and to get Anton, to get a great return.
Yeah, mate. Like Paul, they've been a breath of fresh air there for the industry. I think Nutrien, you know, it's a professionally run sales company. It's a big organisation, obviously, and they've got a great team. You know, Mark Barton and his team, they do a great job, and they've been huge for us, I think, and going forward, I think they're just a massive asset for the industry to have. You know, so yeah, hopefully, you know, that the sort of kindred bodies, I guess you could say, the authorities and that, they can work with them and really sort of let them get cemented in the industry, because, you know, these companies like that to have on board is a massive advantage for us and in the industry. So yeah, it's a great thing to have them on board.
It is, and it is a lot of doom and gloom in Victoria, especially at the minute with our stakes decreases and things like that. And there's a bit of positivity. As I said, I'm not allowed to say the official things, but I can tell people to be excited, especially the trotters. It is super exciting and well worth having them up and ready to go by April. That's the one thing I will say. If they're ready, go for it. It's always a little bit of a juggle, isn't it? I know you've already started. I was talking to Pat the other day, and you've already started to get them ready, but it's one of those juggling things. You don't, if they're not going to be ready, you still have races like the Breeders' Crown at the end of the series, end of the season. You've got to be able to just weigh up the options, but get the right horses there at the right time.
100%, yeah. You know, like obviously not all of the horses are going to be precocious and get up and go early, you know, but you know, sort of, I guess it's sense when the money's there on offer, you've got to have a crack and try and at least get them there, and you know, sort of with the change of programming and the calendar and that, you know, everybody's still sort of really getting their head around it. And, you know, I know myself, like last year, like I said, we were sort of caught a little bit napping, but, you know, this year I think we're a little bit more organised than I think most people will be, you know, and I think it will work out okay. You know, you have them up and ready there for April, and then, you know, somewhere in between you can probably give them a little break, and then get ready for the feature races towards the end of the year. So, yeah, you know, you see the thoroughbreds do it quite often. You know, they'll get them ready up and going in the spring, and then give them a little break and get going again there in the autumn, which has worked for them for decades. You know, obviously. So there's no reason why it can't work for us. I think it's quite good. You know, but yeah, it's not going to suit all horses, but you know, hopefully. I think once people sort of get their head around the programming and the calendar, it can be a really good thing going forward.
I was just having a look through the catalogue just there before. There's two questions I want to ask you. Firstly, one, you've got a 3/4, which is super exciting, to I'm Ready Jet being offered up a classic connection out of I'm Ready Set. I think he's a colt too, so that's going to be on a lot of people's radars, Anton. But also, you would have been happy again with her last night. She's getting there.
Yeah, to be honest, we didn't have. Well, she was probably the opposite to the other horse. She didn't have a great week. She probably should have put them ones there away last night. Even though it's a very, very good field, I've got a lot of respect for all the horses, obviously, but she wasn't as good as she was probably a couple of weeks ago when she won at Maryborough. She tied up a little bit on us, and it's just been a little bit tricky with her with the weather and that. No one's fault but my own. I kept them in there a day, broke routine, and she's really a horse that loves routine, and once you sort of break it, we had a terrible day up here, and the wind was howling, it was raining, and I thought, we'll just leave him in today, and the next day she tied up on me, so that's her. Unfortunately, she's just can do that, but she, considering the circumstances, she still raced good, considering, but I think she'll improve. Sort of the better races are coming there in January. We'll start sort of really trying to screw her down and get her ready for those. That's the aim, and we'll increase her work a bit, I guess, and try and have a spot on for them big races.
Just on that, the Italian horse whose name I can't remember. Almost.
Call Me the Breeze.
That's him. I could almost get it. How's he coming up, mate?
Seems good. Seems good. Real happy with him there. He's, I think he's went a mile in about 2:12 there with him the other day, and he done that obviously quite easy as you'd expect him to. So he's probably a couple of weeks away from sort of stepping out. But no, beautiful horse, great manners. Everything's there. There's everything there to like about him. So. But we'll get a little bit more serious here in the next couple of weeks. But so far, so good.
Will he trial or just race straight away, Anton?
Oh, he'll trial.
Yep.
He'll trial. I think they have to trial, Paul, to be honest, when they come over. I think there may be a rule. I'm not too sure, but I think they may have to have a trial. Not 100% sure. But no, he'll need a trial. He hasn't raced there quite a long time, and obviously going into the class that he has to go into.
Yep.
He can't afford to be underdone or soft going into them, because he can come undone pretty quickly. I think doing that.
Sometimes the way they come across the assessment, is he is he highly assessed?
I don't know. I don't know what his assessment is.
You'll find out.
Yeah, I'll find out. Yeah, I've tried to do the clearance on him there a couple of times, and it hasn't been sort of put through HRV there yet. So, Lukey's just joined in the conversation here.
It'll be a fun. He'll make me sound good. Don't worry about that. It'll be all good. I will not hold you up. Just the job that Volstead done from the farm's point of view, Anton, having quality horses, and you had Volstead over here, weren't able to, I suppose, get him back here, but you guys must be so proud of the job he's doing on both sides of the ditch too. Also in New Zealand, he's got some quality trotters over there. He's just doing a great job, isn't he?
Paul, like he was a horse that we obviously we had a lot of time for. We a horse that we sourced. He ticked every box. What we were looking for. He was a top racehorse, great pedigree, great individual. Beautiful type of horse, great conformation. So we're not surprised at all, Paul. And to be honest, I think his book, the next year, which is a coming 2-year-old, was a lot better than his first year. I think the next sort of lot, if you go off paper, if it means anything, I think this next bunch of 2-year-olds will probably be better again. So
he had a great book that next year.
Oh yeah, but the year, so 2024 is yearling, so he didn't come back that year. That's what I was actually looking at. Now I'm right. Okay, yep, that's fine.
Yeah. So the rising 2-year-olds now.
Yep.
You know, I know. Just us. You know, we kept. I think there's 3 Volsteads there, and all 3 of them, I love them. You know, they're out of very good mares, but you know, compared to his previous crop, on paper, it's a much better crop, and I'd expect it to be better again results. You know, but yeah, he's done an amazing job for first season sire. I know in my time since I've been home, I haven't seen one make an impact like he has. You know, so no, he was a horse that obviously, we had a lot of time for him, and we gave him a great opportunity.
Yep, and with on a streak this year as well, he has that similar size, similar bloodlines as well. So that's one of the things we want people to be aware of as well, that Cantab Hall Cross, and that was one of the reasons for his securing on a streak, who is standing at Cobbity Farms in conjunction with you guys. But that is one of the main pointers we want to point out. It's a similar style of breeding as what Volstead is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're bred on the same cross. You know, that Cantab Muscles Yankee cross, Valley Victory cross. Sorry, so it's and you know, on a streak himself was an amazing 2-year-old. You know, he was a very, very precocious horse. Won a Breeders' Crown at 2, and you know, so we'd expect him to do a great job too. You know, we gave him a really, really good book of mares last year on a streak, and the foals so far have been awesome. They've been beautiful types. Once again, you know, typical of the Cantabs, very good-looking horses. So, yeah, he's a horse we're looking forward to.
Very strong. I actually was out in the paddock the other day with looking at some classic connections just to do a little video that I've done up, and there was a couple of them there in the paddock, and very strong. 2 colts, I think, and they're both very strong. Mate,
yeah.
I'll let you go because it is a Sunday. I really appreciate your time. Sounds like you're going to be playing tractors or something in a minute, are you?
Oh, she just told me that her brother's a rat bag.
It won't be the last time she says that either.
Oh, I hear it often, believe me.
Mate, thank you. Well done last night. Great effort from the farm, and that, I mean, it's a time-honoured race. How many? I know you've at least won one other one, because that's always ready. I've got the photo with you but how many other Breeders' Crowns have you won?
Oh, I'm not sure.
3 under the bus.
Yeah, Dance Crazy, I think she won one at 3.
Yep.
I think Already Jet won 3.
Yep, she did actually. So yeah.
Yeah, she won 3.
But it's a time-honoured race. It's a great race.
Yeah, I think with the 4-year-olds we've had a bit of luck there too. You know, I think Val Gardena won one, and Egret won one there the other night. So
did too.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Thank you. You go and be dad now. It's a much more important job to be doing on a Sunday, but really appreciate the time, and I will catch up with you very shortly, mate.
All right, mate. Thank you.
No worries.
What you do.
Thank you very much. Anton Golino there joining me. He's got his hands full too. He's about to have a little bit of fun. But I said there before about some of the horses coming up into that sale. So make sure you get the online catalogue for nutrienequine.com.au. It is available online now, and the hard copy will go to press this week. Actually, we'll go to press, and the NZB Standardbred's the first horse that I said bet and win. There's a full to it offered up for Brecon Farms. That'll be going around at the Auckland sale on the 18th of February at Karaka, and then on the 20th and 21st at Christchurch is the other one. What the Hill has got 21 in the NZB sale, 21 yearlings on offer in the NZB sales. Very well related horses, especially most of it, both islands actually are there, and there is 8 available in Nutrien. I just saw Brad Steele there. I think there's 5 in
Queensland, and 3 in Victoria. I think it was a breakup, but I did have a look at it. But make sure you keep up to date with both of those farms, both those sales agencies there. nutrienequine.com.au. Follow it to the standardbred sections and follow each of those pedigrees. There is one more date we have to put in there, so there will be a Tasmanian sale as well on the 26th of January. When I get the updated slide, I'll put that one into there. And then, as I said, nzbstandardbred.co.nz. Theirs is online, and I also have one of the hard copies available to me right now. So good to see plenty of people on and going forward. While Brad Steele is there and I'm about to get David Miles, I am going to have Darren Clayton on. We will be doing a full-on preview, promotional, whatever you like to call it, for the Inter-Dominion. We're going to talk Inter-Dominion on Wednesday on Loose Line, so please become a part of that show and get involved and have a little bit of fun as well. We'll be getting some guests on and go from there. So I'll have Darren on with me as a FaceTime, but we will be trying to catch up with as many of the other people as we can going forward and go from there. Try and get hold of... He'll answer the phone. There's not a worry there in the world that David Miles will answer the phone first call. He's probably sitting on it, ready to go. So he's going to make a liar of me. So we'll just hopefully he gets and answers it. I did tell him it'd be a bit later.
G'day, you've reached David Miles. Sorry I can't take your call.
Unfortunately, he hasn't answered it. Very frustrating. He does know I'm going to call. I said to him it'd be closer to 8 o'clock, so I'll just give him a little bit of a minute to... He might just have been on another phone call or something to that extent. I'll give him a second and we'll get on top of it. We'll get to talk to him because he's done an amazing job with this filly, Rockin' With Attitude. She's just been awesome all year. It's an amazing 3-year-old year. She's won 3 Oaks. No, she got beaten in Victorian Oaks. So she's won 2 Oaks, 2 Derbies, Breeders' Crown final now as well, plus seconds in so many other races. She's ran 9th on one occasion. That was in the Victorian Sire Stakes when she jumped it off on that occasion, and 4th in the Great Square. Other than that, she's been in the top couple the whole way through and just done an awesome job going through the grades. So 2 other times she's missed a place. Redwood Classic and her first start, she ran 4th on that occasion as well. So he likes his me time, this bloke. It's a wonder he's not answering it, but he doesn't want to answer it at the minute. Michael Gadsden, Noel McNulty, Marie Newberry. Hopefully Marie got to listen to Maddie, but you'll be able to watch it in replay anyway if you haven't. Brad Steele there congratulating you, Marie, on your win. I think it was great, and some chance, Brad, you'll be able to get them up there for the Oaks and the Derby next year as well. So going forward as well. Didn't do a lot of other research because I was sort of thinking that by the time I spoke to the 3 people, Benny Pell, hello to you, my friend, we would be right to go. And Dave Miles has just left me in the lurch because the True Roman was on last night as well. Champion horse I was fortunate enough to have a little bit of time, a little bit to do with Graham Johansson. Rora Coe beat I'm Ready Jet and Sleepy. Kai Valley Hotspur, Chinese Whispers, and Hatchback filling in the... we claim the Newberries as Queenslanders. Of course you do, especially when they are winning as well. The other race that I did want to highlight, and I've got to say a huge well done to everyone involved, is the Bendigo race on Friday night, albeit conditions weren't conducive to getting crowds out there again, unfortunately, which does make it hard. But Elderbaron Boyd for David Aiken and John Justice trained this horse, took out the Oxley Feed Mills Veteran Drivers Race. A lot of fun. Great to see so many people there and enjoyed it. All horses were presented beautifully and went there. Michelle, ring your trainer. Michelle Arnett's on there. Ring your trainer and ask where is he, because I've rang him twice and he's not answering, and I need him. I wanted him on to do that. Beating My Jerry for Brian Gaff. Brian Gaff's record in this veteran drivers race would be outstanding. He's won it a couple of times. He drove in the initial one it'd be brilliant. His actual record. So here he is now. So, hello, David Miles. How are you, my friend?
Very well, Mr. Campbell.
Where have you been? Where's your note?
Well, I was outside rugging horses in this cold weather.
Oh, so the sunshine that we have here in sunny Victoria is not emulating in the beautiful Monagita. Is that what you're saying?
I have told you this place is called Pleurisy Plains.
We got Brad Steele on from Queensland, so I might say that it's nice, but he's probably sitting there in shorts and a singlet or something like that. So yeah.
He's a good man, Mr. Steele. He looked after me very well when I was in Queensland.
They all do. They all do. Queensland, and it is good, mate. Congratulations for a start. Well done on rocking with attitude, taking out the. I can't get the sponsors because you weren't here. I got off my page that I needed to be on. I just want to get the sponsors. It'll take me. Where is it? There. Highland Harness Colours, Breeders' Crown for the 3-year-old trotting fillies with rocking with attitude, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. It's been a year and it's been a great ride, and was grand final night last night, and she did us proud.
Yep, she did indeed, and it's been an interesting path, I suppose, Dave. With her, I'll show her the race, the last 400 of the race in a minute, but very dominant filly at the start of the year too. Last night, Nathan Jack. He said it on the broadcast side. I'd imagine you would have heard it there, but the intention was to lead. Albeit she's been still the dominant filly for the year, they're prepared to take her on at the end of the season, aren't they?
Yeah, they always sort of have, probably since size final time, and rightly so. You know, we sort of might have got away with a couple in Queensland and in Sydney. The times weren't fantastic. A good lead, a cheap lead, and then we'll be able to dictate. And I suppose people get sick of doing that after a while and go, well, we've got to test her at some stage. And because of that, she made a mistake in the size final. And then She's Ruby Roo was lucky, got a couple of really good trips to beat us in the Oaks and the Need for Speed. And, looking back on it, the way I've trained her the last month, maybe the trainer fell for the old, she's a good horse, she can get away with a couple of things, and we probably turn the screws a bit tighter the last 4 weeks.
Yep, and come from there. It's interesting because Anton Golino just said before he heard with I'm Ready Jet this week as well. It's a great game training horses, isn't it? Like the weather was a bit unkind, so he thought he'd look after the horse, and it might have come back to bite him on the backside at the other end. So it's an interesting game. Your management of this filly, Dave, before we get back and talk about the race last night, though, has been outstanding. She has raced at the highest grade from 2-year-old right through now to the end of her 3-year-old career. So you may not have looked back at it just yet, but you will look back at that, I'm sure, at some point in time and say, geez, we did pretty good with this mare.
Yeah, it's been a process. There's been quite a few little wrong this season behind the scenes. She's had a fair bit of hamstring and stifle trouble that's taken some management, and because of that we probably couldn't work hard as I really would have liked, but in saying that, that's probably got her through so well, because she probably she was probably went around 90% fit for most of the season, but the last month we really had to tighten her up. And we put some work into her at home, and one day she was naughty at home and she didn't really want to do what I wanted her to do, so she got a very tough week there leading up to Maryborough, and she actually went to Maryborough, and it was the best she'd been all season, to be honest. That, for me, that I know it was only a heat win, but her race at Maryborough was the best she felt and the best she trotted all season.
We've got plenty of the owners on. Don't worry about that. Someone's put it out there. We also got Cam Brown from Western Australia watching. I think he's got the great Johnny Turner with him still too. So the king of content, Johnny Turner. So, yeah, I love putting that out there because I give him a hard time about it, but that's okay. And Jason Stewart is on, and he is one of the owners, and he's a Bendigonian as well. So he's a good bloke, that bloke. Don't worry about it. Don't worry one bit about that. The race, were you worried? I've got the last 400 metres. Were you worried when Nathan, his intention was to hold you out?
Well, it was interesting you said, I probably heard it on course, that he was going to hold me out. No, I had no idea. It was one thing I didn't. And, when the gate went, I got half length on on She's a Wish, I thought, well, we'll have a crack and we'll see whether he just wants to make me work, or whether he's and then let me go, or whether his intentions are to hold completely. And when I figured out that he was going to hold completely, I had to go for about another 80 or 90 metres just to make sure I made a gap, because I figured Snooze or Valerie Lane wasn't quite sure which one it was going to be punching up the fence, but I knew that they wouldn't want to be letting me in there, so just had to make the gap. And my filly, to her credit, grabbed hold, dropped in pretty quick time, and got in that spot. Then after that, I was pretty happy to be following She's a Wish. I just was a little concerned if they went too slow, but we were lucky enough that Nath just got enough pressure to keep him rolling along, with first Glamour Stride coming around, then Jason Lee, and then of course Chrissy came down the back on our Marvella, which made the back straight quarter quick enough, because as we've seen, I think it was in the bracelet at Maryborough, She's a Wish got home in 27.6, and it's very hard, even if you're on the sprint lane, it's just to make up one length, it's so hard to do that in a 27.6. So that was probably my only concern, but once we got halfway down the back straight and our Marvella got She's a Wish rolling, I was pretty confident, until about 50 yards from the sprint lane, when I could see Ruby Roo starting to circle, and I know she's probably not quite as good as she was 6 or 8 weeks ago, Ruby Roo, but she's still a fantastic filly. I was just a little concerned that Greg might get a little bit of a break on me, but luckily She's a Wish got us all the way to the sprint lane.
Rocking with Attitude's boosting my ratings. Andrew Wiley, who's another of the owners there, says David is master of the trainers, but it's good for my ratings as well, Dave. People are going to watch us and say, look at the people that have watched this, and I'll put it all down to the guys with Rocking with Attitude.
Andrew should be careful, or I'll post some photos of him sleeping with the trophy last night.
I was very nervous where that was going until you said that last bit, but that's okay. This is not on loose lines. This is a much more controlled show. It's funny the things you think back to, though, Dave. Like at the start of the season, I hosted the Trotters Awards night, the VSTA Trotters Awards night, and half the owners weren't there. I'm pretty sure it was the Oaks. It may have been the Dave. I can't remember, but it was definitely in New South Wales, and they've had a great ride. Like they're there collecting the trophy, and then we're able to watch their filly win as well. So it's been a lot of fun for a lot of the people as well.
Oh, they've had an absolute ball. Syndicates are fantastic. These people they've become very good friends. If you're very nice, Paula, you might get an invite to the Rockin' with Attitude party this Saturday night. Who actually Andrew and Tracy are hosting. And that could finish up being on loose lines, I'll tell you.
Why do I have to be nice? I'm always nice. It just comes naturally for me.
So, but as I say, it's fantastic for a group of people to get together like this. Everybody gets along fantastic. We've had owners in New South Wales, Queensland, and Victoria, and they've all got a trophy each now, I think, which has made things pretty special. But yeah, it's horses like this, and they make generations, and we've got a generation of horses coming through, and we've got sons and daughters of owners that were at the trots last night that are enjoying their parents' goodwill.
Just in the owners there, Dave, I just see C. Holloway. That's not Colin from Ballarat.
No, it's Chris Holloway, yeah.
Yep, that's fine. I just saw the name. I just thought, well, I can only ask. It won't matter at all. And you're spot on. And that's what we've got to do, and that's what we've got to capture is get the next generations and other people to be able to cover it. I actually want to I'm just going to replay your race again, Dave. I'm actually going to scrub through to the end, because one of the things you said there about enjoying it and all the rest is I'm pretty sure it's Louise Pangrazio cuddling Michelle or someone else, but I think it's Michelle after the race. So it's not just the first place getters, if you like, that you get to enjoy it, because you've had so many battles with She's a Wish. You become, I know you were already friends with them, but you become more, if you like, friends with them after the race, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. Like Louise and Neville have been fantastic to us. We've trained numerous horses for them, and we've had quite a few of their breed here, and probably the best being Mindari Pretty, who I bought off them at the Ealing sales. But we've been lucky enough to be friends with them, and they're doing a fantastic job with that filly. I know they have a lot of issues with her, and they've done a super job with a filly with a lot of issues. So it's I did say to them in the car park before the race, if I get beat, I hope it's by them. So but it was everybody for the whole night. Every time I walked somebody, they wanted to shake your hand and congratulate you. And it's a long year, it's a long season. I've been pretty tired today, not because of the couple of drinks I had last night, but somebody did say to me, it does, and the adrenaline that gets you on nights like that, the next day, it was good to have a nice relaxing day today, I'll tell you, because I wouldn't have wanted to be fronting up at the trots anywhere.
Well, there's no trots today, which no one knew about, I don't think, but that's okay. Rocking with attitude, Michelle Arnett. What's that? Louise ran straight up to me. Amazing people. Yes, they are, and that's what it's about. One day from a Pacers versus Trotters sort of thing. 4 of those 3-year-old trotting fillies have now won over $100,000. You've actually won the most, $333,000. You could have won $300. You had to win $900, but that's okay. I'll accept. I can handle that. But She's a Wish has won 105. I'm just going to get it up here. 102,000 from 15 starts. And then She's Ruby Roo has won 122 from 18 starts. And then Elderbaron Miley as well has got 105. She's had the most starts, so 24 starts. Like, terrific money for these horses to be able to win, isn't it?
Oh, for sure, Paulie. The Trotters money's just gone ahead in leaps and bounds, and it will just continue to do so. Full credit to Duncan McPherson for probably the last 15 years, and Pat Driscoll for maybe the last 7 or 8 since the Abbey Dams have been up and running. Might even be longer than that. I'm not quite sure, but those guys have invested hugely into the sport of trotting in this country, and it's definitely on the rise, which is probably one of the few parts of this industry that is.
It was, and it was quite interesting. It doesn't equate for how many people that paid up, but there was more trotters accepted for the heats of the Breeders' Crown than there were Pacers. So it does not mean, but the state differential is very glaring and probably needs looking at, but the trotting people still pay up for it, and I would imagine will continue to pay up for it. It's one of those ones I will ask for some numbers on that going forward, because I worry about the Breeders' Crown. I love the Breeders' Crown. I love what it means and what it stands for and all the rest, but it doesn't seem to be working. And then you throw the trotters in when you put the Pacers in, because there's such a small pool of Pacers, a small amount of Pacers, sorry. When you put the trotters in, well, the Breeders' Crown works, because the spread of people, the 4 people that I've been able to interview tonight have come from all different walks of life, and that's what's so great about it. Yeah,
well, as you said, the Breeders' Crown's in a very tenuous situation at the moment, but there's a lot of things that contributed to that. I think the fact that it stopped being international when they stopped running the heats all over Australia, which I know as a Victorian trainer we used to whinge about, because a horse might win a 1 or 2 horse heat interstate or overseas or in New Zealand and get a pass into the semi-finals here. But the series was truly national then, and it was probably the only national series we had.
Yep.
The Inter-Dominion, obviously, it's a little bit in the same boat where, it struggles to get full national exposure. I'm sure Brad Steele's probably a little bit miffed that a lot of the Victorians have decided they're not going to go this year for what is our most prestigious event.
Yep.
And I wouldn't blame him. They've marketed it, I thought, very well. They canvassed the trainers, these national events have really become state events now, and the Breeders' Crown really last night. I know we saw the Queensland Trotter win,
yep.
But I'm trying to think. Maybe there was half a dozen interstate horses there last night in total. So it's great for Victoria because Victorian trotting ranks are obviously the strongest in the country, and that's why the Breeders' Crown in the Trotters version is probably kicking goals.
Yep, yeah, exactly, and that's probably you're spot on because the Trotters. The other part is, and I'm fortunate enough that I do travel, is timing. New Zealand have just finished. Like people say, why is there no Kiwis here? Well, they've just finished their number 1 week, and Sunday and 2 weeks' time today, in a fortnight's time today. I hope it's a fortnight, otherwise I'm in trouble. But they've got their Grand Prix, again more money, and then they roll back into their Northern Ireland Carnival as well. So timing and positioning is everything. The amount of Kiwis that actually said to me they don't go over because they're not sure they can make it. They used to be able to go over with those heats. We used to say it was a free hit and it's not fair. I'm tipping the TAB would wish that they could get those horses over because at the end of the day, that's the other part of it. Once these guys start bringing the horses over, so does the international money and money from other states invested in our product, and that's what we want as well. So yeah, it's always
that's right.
It's
a dual-edged sword. At some point, have the best horses racing the best horses, and unfortunately, it's just not happening consistently enough now. And one of the states has to bite the bullet and say we're going to run an race, and Victoria did it. And for whatever reason, they've cut that back over the last 5 years or so. But it was quite amazing. I know the weather wasn't on side, but it was quite amazing for a Breeders' Crown final night to see the lack of patrons there last night. It was sad.
We said there before about Brad Steele of Queensland and Racing Queensland. They are doing a good job for their winter carnival, and they have earmarked an empty spot, and they are running with it. What we need is for everyone, Australia and New Zealand, to respect that spot, if you like, and help them grow it as well.
Well, it's the one that should work. It's in the middle of winter where the Victorian trainers will want to get out of Dodge. The Sydney guys, they have no trouble driving up the road to Queensland. We saw Magnificent Storm go across this year. You never know; they might get one or two more Western Australians come over. But yeah, it's the carnival that it has the timing, and everybody sort of left it alone in the middle of winter. And the weather was great when we were up there last year, and don't worry, we'll be heading back again next year.
I'm just quietly counting up, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I counted up 6 interstate horses. 5 of those are New South Wales and 1 Queensland horse in the whole series. That's in the 8 races. So that is one of the issues, that it's become pretty much a Victorian race.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and as you say, the numbers compared to the size stakes is that there were the less horses went around in the heats than they did in the size, Yep. So, and a lot of that might be because of pay-ups, where people, when you pay up for the size, you're really not paying to be eligible for a size stakes. You're paying up for your Vic Bred bonus to start with. Where if you pay up for the Breeders' Crown and you're only good enough to win a race, there's no kickback. There's no chance of getting your money back, or your sustaining fees back. So there's a few things there that could be looked at board level and how they're going to run that. But as I say, it's one of the states has to bite the bullet and run a national race. And I think the Queensland Winter Carnival is probably the luckiest one at the moment because they've got the time slot that works for everybody. There's one issue, David. What's that, Paulie? They won't fly me up there. Oh, really? I've got to get to it. I'm telling you. Well, I'll just keep putting it out there. Don't worry about that. I'll let you ride in the float when I take Rocket Without a Tube back up there next year, Paulie. Okay, what is that? What is for her? Is that her next main aim, the Great Square? I would think so. I would think so. She's going to have a really good break. I've got to work out the dates and see when Brad can put me up in the
penthouse.
The penthouse. So I'll let him tell me how long he's going to put me up for.
I reckon he's tuned off because we've thrown enough barbs at him and he hasn't put anything back. So I reckon he might have tuned off, but we'll find out.
Bloody Queenslanders. I think that's her next aim. It's the way of racing, and we have handicapping systems for a reason to handicap good horses, and she's been the best, and she's been handicapped royally. I think she's a 120 rater now, so
yep.
It's going to be a tough ask next year when there aren't a lot of 4-year-old trots, and that one in Queensland is probably the biggest money for the year for her, the richest race of the year, unless we decide to take on what you would call the Grand Circuit Trotters. Might be a bit hard next year for her, so that race is probably the main race of the year for her. So she goes to the Romgeta Lodge tomorrow to stud to have an embryo flushed out of her, and she's going with the sire of the moment, Volstead. And we'll then give her about 6 to 8 weeks in the paddock and get her ready for Queensland.
Yeah, and that's probably smart thinking because it gives you plenty of time, because I know some people, they try those embryo flushes, think that nothing doesn't change them, and sometimes it will. Well, you're going to have plenty of time to get over that part with her there anyway. So is international travel an option with her, Dave? And even to an extent, New Zealand, is that something that, with her, is that anything you've looked at, or you're happy to stay here in Australia?
Oh, no, if we get invited anywhere, I'm going. I hate a road trip, Paulie.
Would you like a minute to think about that?
No. I tell you, anywhere to get out of Pleurisy Plains, when we get that 3 weeks of summer that we get down here. Listen, you'd be mad. I know I had a good chat with Greg about Just Believe's trip and the costs involved and the money he won, and it was definitely in the red, that trip, from what the owners have said and trainers have said. But you can't pay for that. You can't put a price on that. That's pie in the sky, and that's what we're all in it for, to get that horse, or maybe to make that trip. So I know Duncan McPherson was pretty keen on this filly making the trip this year. But who knows? I'd be pretty happy to do what Aldebaran Zeus has done this year and go over for a matchmaker. But we've got to prove ourselves at Grand Circuit level yet. And, we Queen of Leaders and Just Believes and On Ready Jets and horses like that. We've got to stamp our footprint in the big boys sandpit.
Yeah, but you also got to put your name out there that you are prepared to do it, because then you might get a phone call.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee I'm prepared to do it. That's exactly what we aim for, Paulie. It really is.
I hope he's not bringing the trophy with him, but Andrew Wally's coming with you. He said he's already packed his bags. He's just waiting. So it'll be interesting if it's sitting on the mantelpiece or if he's got it in his bag ready to go.
It's well, as I say, that it's going to be an interesting next couple of years for this filly. You've got a lot of people involved, and it's a lot of money involved. And the best part about this syndicate for me is that all the guys are down to earth and level headed, and they've made my job so much easier by letting me do my thing. But if any of them wants to say no to an overseas trip, look out, I might go off.
Yeah. All right, very good, Dave. Thank you. This is Talking Trotters, and this is what it's about. Generally, the show, like I try to highlight, weekly winners and that for everyone. But I just think the results last night. I've got commitments tomorrow that I probably won't be home. But I think the results last night, as I said, Graham Dwyer, yourself, the Newberries, and then also Anton Golino. I think as I said, it showcases our industry, and it just shows what's so good about the trotter. And I keep trying to say how great harness racing is, and sometimes you feel like I know why I'm bald anyway, and but then other times you watch racing last night and I wasn't there, and I just think how great it is, the result. So I think well done to yourself, all of the owners, and everyone involved as well, mate.
Well, you're right, Paulie, because Anton's training performance with Valthorns was off the charts. That horse has given him nothing but grief. I remember watching him with a trial at Bendigo about 6 weeks ago and him saying, I wish I could get this horse to trot. And the Newberries have done the same. You know, she was really average, I think, just before Redwood time there. She made a break at Maryborough and you know, Johnny's...
That was in the Vicbred, yeah.
Yeah, and he's had his issues, and Graham Dwyer, who's, you know, took for what he and young Lane have done, you know, and they're fantastic people, and it's a big ask to come down and have that horse stay for as long as they did, and take on the best of the best, and you know, they've got the new Iceman, Nathan Dawson. If you can get 2 words out of Nathan, good luck to you. He takes everything in his stride on the outside. I don't know what he's like on the inside, but he just keeps making all the right decisions, and hence why he's probably going to win the Australian Drivers' Championship this year.
Yeah, he's on 300 and... Actually, I'll have a look right now. He was on 376. I love his commitment, though, Dave. Like, he's looking at making records and things along those lines, but he ain't getting off this horse. He's going to New Zealand to drive him, which is outstanding, and that's what... we want 381. He's on now, so yep. So with a month to go. So, but yeah, he's committed to go and drive that horse in New Zealand as well, which is exciting. Was New Zealand? Did you ever think about New Zealand, Dave?
No, she'd had a big enough year, yep. and to be honest, she needed. I have done some embryo transfers before while horses have been in work, and for me, it hasn't worked. I'm sure other trainers probably have, but we haven't been able to make it click. And the mares have had too big a letdown. So we really wanted her to be resting when we went through this process. And, you know, as I said, we've really looked at the race at Queensland, and that'll be our main aim next year. And that's the first cab off the rank. So we've done all our dates around that. And, so that just made New Zealand a little bit tough. Yeah.
Yep, did indeed. I know one thing. Andrew Wiley's got big thumbs because he when you actually look, I know exactly what he said because I read it the right way the first time. Then I looked at it and I'm thinking that's the wrong word, but because he said he's packing his bags and coming with 2. TOU is the best I can come up with it anyway, Dave. But then we could start a rumour because then Michelle Arnett says me too, Andrew. But then Mr. Miles isn't going anywhere without me. Like, I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but anyway, we'll just. She's gone red now, I reckon, Dave. So it's all good.
Oh no, you take a lot more than that to embarrass Michelle. I'll tell you.
I'm in for it when I see her next. And then Andrew Wiley has said we need to upgrade our caps to t-shirts. Please do embrace what you guys have got and wear it and be parochial. It's what our sport needs. I love people getting dressed up on the real big nights, but when it's just a meeting, wear your colours, make them bloody Dave's colours or whatever, make them proud and be proud of what you guys have got. You know, like I think it's another part of the industry I want us to start to do, to up the ante a bit, Dave. Be proud. The guys have got to be proud of what they've been able to achieve as owners and enjoy it and celebrate it.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, there's a lot of... You know, and as you know, we play a straight bat and, you know, we use the old cliche 1 week at a time and that sort of stuff. But, you know, I probably cop a bit of flack for being a bit leery and being out there at times. But, you know, Gay Waterhouse has made a mission of it. And
she was swimming with a horse. Have you seen that?
Yep. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yep. Yeah. And, you know, and just she's got a passion for the sport like no other and has not wavered 1 inch for her career, which is an unbelievable testament, because I'm telling you, there's days for all of us where we go, we just don't want to do this anymore. But
she doesn't live in Monagita though.
No, you're right. Yeah, but yeah, she's an amazing role model, and for those of us who you know, as you say, when we get the chance to brag, we probably should, but it's not the Australian way generally. Yeah, I think we need to up our profile, and sometimes it's the little things that do that.
No, absolutely. Jeb Anderson, I totally disagree with what you guys are saying. I think you guys are wrong, but that's okay. You're entitled. I hate that T-shirt. I think it's ugly.
Okay, he might be having a crack at mine. Not sure.
He might be having a go at mine or what's in my T-shirt. That's probably pretty average.
No, I reckon he must be having a go at mine because I've got it on there. He might be an anti-Woodlands person. Well, Woodlands is sensational for our industry, I can tell you that, Jeb, but that's okay. Hang on, he's come back again. What dude ever shut up, guys, when people want to talk? Okay. Obviously, I haven't got a fan there, Dave, but I'll let him keep going. Brad Steele, nice 2-year-old trotter coming from New Zealand and head him up off Paul Nan trained horse by Waterloo Sunset. A son of Sundown has made his way to the Gillespies in Queensland, and he'll be aimed at the Great Square and a few of those other races as well, Dave.
He's a pretty nice horse too. I know it. I know he was 6 figures. So if he wasn't. Oh, you sure?
Positive.
Okay, well, the agent might have got a commission somewhere. It's been unusual for a New Zealand agent to whack something on it, wouldn't it, Polly?
No, it's all good. Oh my God, Jeb's on a tangent. Anyway, we'll leave Jeb alone, and he'll be fine. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for letting me continue. I guess I'm not a fan. Okay. That's all fine. Very good. All right, mate. Thank you. Well done for what you're doing. As I said, this has been Talking Trotters, and I really appreciate your time, Dave.
No worries, Paulie. Have a good one.
We've got Nick Beale just tuned in there too, so he's not Jeb Anderson anyway, so it's all fine.
Oh, he had a good sleep in this morning after having a late night on his wild turkeys and popcorn. So
popcorn. Very good. Thank you, David.
Cheers, mate.
There we have David Miles. Not sure if I've upset you or not, Jeb, but yeah, the show is about Talking Trotters, and that is all I want to do. So to get the message out there, and Talking Trotters for What the Hill. So thank you very much. Been a big show. Mark Shelley, hello to you, mate. Good to see you there as well. But as I said, always brought to you by the team at Woodlands Stud. Make sure you go to woodlandstud.co.nz for all of your information or any of your needs with any of the stallions that they have, including What the Hill and Speeding Spur, 2 of the trotting stallions that they have standing there, woodlandstud.co.nz. And if you're in Australia, get in touch with Mark Hughes as mark@woodlandstud.co.nz for all your needs going from there. Going there. Anyway, I'm going to have to block Jeb, I think, eventually, but he'll be fine. We'll let him go. Rightio. See you Tuesday for Over the Ditch. Possibly be live, and then talking on Loose Lines on Wednesday night. Brad Steele and a few of the other guys will be at Queensland, where we will be promoting the Inter-Dominion and the Carnival and what it's all about. So tune in there. Be a bit more fun, a little bit more open-ended. Who knows how long the show will go, but as I said, Darren Clayton's going to be joining me via video link up, so he'll be there FaceTime, and we'll be taking quite a few phone calls, finding out how the people think the horses have travelled and the build up to the Inter-Dominion. So really do appreciate it. All right, guys, see you all next Monday night for Talking Trotters. We'll be back. Not sure if Jeb's going to be back or not, but thank you very much.
Side, yes, Mickey, with less than a 16th to go. What the Hill, a short lead. Lindy the Great to the inside. Yes, Mickey, coming to the wire. It's What the Hill, and David Miller winning the
pocket sitter. Turned first over attacker What the Hill, and behind them Dover Dan from in third. International Money still got work to do. They're in deep stretch, and here comes What the Hill and Miller on the outside. What the Hill converting off the pocket trip to win the Canadian Trotting Classic. He won it by 3 going away. It's What the Hill.
Third, 3/4, 124 and 2 into the stretch. Looks like a Chippendale appears to be on the verge. Crazy Wild trying to fend him off. Room at the rail for What the Hill. He's raging late. And in heavy traffic is Pinkman on the far outside. Dayson trying to close in. But off the rail comes What the Hill, the 3-year-old. What the Hill to seal his division. What the Hill, then Dayson. And then it was Pinkman third and Mambo Lindy fourth. What the Hill in 1:51 and 4 in the TVG Open Trot.